In a world where innovation is everything, one young engineer dares to challenge the system. Amara James, a determined student, faces relentless doubt, sabotage, and ridicule from her peers. But when the stakes rise and the odds stack against her, she channels her passion and grit into creating something extraordinary. As whispers of mockery grow louder and her resources are stolen, Amara refuses to give in. She knows this isn't just a project. It's her chance to prove herself. With her father's words echoing in her mind and a groundbreaking invention in her hands, she steps into the spotlight. The question is, will she rise above the noise or crumble under the pressure? One invention, one shot, one moment that could change everything. The lab's Underdog, a story of resilience, redemption, and revolution. The lab is a cathedral of technology, an awe-inspiring expanse of sleek white walls and metallic surfaces that shimmer under the harsh overhead lights. The hum of machines fills the air, each one working in perfect harmony, laser cutters slicing through steel with a sharp metallic hiss, 3D printers layering polymer with the rhythmic sound of gears meshing, and drones buzzing overhead, their motors whirring as they glide through pre-programmed movements. Every inch of the space is dedicated to progress, innovation, and perfection. And amidst it all, Amara James, a young and determined engineering student, remains a quiet figure in her corner. She's deeply immersed in her work, barely noticing the high-tech symphony unfolding around her. Her fingers move swiftly, almost instinctively, over the screen of her tablet, stylus in hand, drawing the final details of her exoskeleton. The project is more than just a school assignment. It is her dream taking shape, a fusion of science and humanity, each line on the digital blueprint a reflection of her ambition, her meticulous nature, her endless nights of planning. Every inch of the design feels like a step closer to something monumental. It's elegant, functional, and, though few around her would see it, revolutionary. Yet despite the intensity with which she works, there's a sense of isolation that clings to her. Not just because of the physical distance between her and the others, but because of the invisible wall that separates her from them. The other students are constantly surrounded by groups, exchanging ideas, sharing resources, their laughter and voices reverberating across the room. They're all from prestigious families, rich in connections, in legacy, in influence. In the world of academia, they are the golden children, already expected to achieve greatness simply by virtue of their birth. Amara, on the other hand, has no family legacy to lean on, no name to open doors for her. She's just Amara. And then there's Christopher Lawrence, an embodiment of privilege. His father is a tech mogul who's revolutionized entire industries. His mother, a renowned scientist whose breakthroughs are in textbooks. Christopher wears his success like a tailored suit, with effortless arrogance. He stands at the center of a laughing, chattering group of friends, his voice carrying across the room as he makes his latest derisive comment. "Have you seen James's project?" he sneers, loud enough for everyone in the room to hear. "An exoskeleton. It's almost laughable. I mean, who still does stuff like that? She must have missed the memo. People move on to real tech by now, not this outdated stuff." His friends burst into laughter, the sound sharp and dismissive. Amara can feel their eyes on her, and she stiffens, but she doesn't look up. She won't give them the satisfaction. Instead, she hones in on the image before her, the exoskeleton, its design growing clearer with every stroke. The mocking words fade into the background as she focuses entirely on the project. It's not the first time she's heard their mockery. They've all written her off. Her peers, the ones with the connections, the ones with the privilege, the jabs, the ridicule, the whispered doubts, they've been a constant undercurrent to her journey. But none of it matters. Amara's resolve is firm. She has something they don't, the fire that burns in her chest, the drive that propels her forward even when the world seems determined to hold her back. Her father's voice echoes in her mind, a calm yet powerful reminder of why she's here. The world doesn't always see greatness in quiet moments, Amara. But greatness doesn't wait for the world's approval. It's forged in silence, in the shadows. And one day, the world will see it for what it is. In that instant, the sting of Christopher's words dulls, replaced by a quiet, steady confidence. Amara exhales slowly, feeling the weight of her father's wisdom seep into her bones. She draws another line, more precise than the last, her focus unwavering. The world may not understand what she's doing now, but one day they will. Every movement of her stylus feels like a promise to herself. This exoskeleton isn't just a mechanical device. It's a part of her, a reflection of her journey, her struggles, her resilience. Every detail in the design is a testament to the sleepless nights, to the moments when her mind felt foggy and her hands numb. But she pushed through because she knew what this meant. This isn't just a project. This is her future, her legacy. And no one, not Christopher, not anyone, can take that from her. In this expanded version, I've added sensory details to emphasize the technological setting and the contrast between Amara's focus and the distractions around her. The internal conflict is heightened with more reflection on her isolation and determination. Christopher's ridicule becomes more pointed, triggering deeper resolve in Amara, while her father's words act as a grounding, emotional anchor. The pacing slows slightly to allow for more introspection and emotional buildup, helping to make Amara's quiet strength even more compelling. The days begin to blur into one another, each one a repetition of the last, as Amara's project inches closer to completion. Yet every step forward feels like 2 steps back. The lab becomes her second home, its sterile walls and flickering overhead lights a constant backdrop to her thoughts. The buzz of machines is omnipresent, the rhythmic slicing of the laser cutters, the low hum of the 3D printers working tirelessly, the high-pitched whir of drones testing their movements. Each sound melds into the other, a cacophony that serves as both her motivation and her frustration. While the world around her races forward in a frenzy of technological progress, Amara feels like she's constantly fighting to catch up. The other students move with effortless confidence. They don't need to break a sweat. Resources and connections flow to them as easily as air. They've got the latest tech, the best equipment, and influential parents who open doors with a single phone call. Their projects are sleek, polished, and cutting-edge, the kind of work that commands instant recognition. Amara can't compete with that. Not in the same way. She doesn't have the luxuries they take for granted, the state-of-the-art labs, the financial cushion, the endless supply of spare parts. She has only herself, her mind, her hands, and an unwavering will to prove that she belongs here just as much as they do. One evening, after yet another grueling day of soldering circuits, tweaking designs, and hoping for breakthroughs that never seem to come, Amara walks into the workshop, her body aching from exhaustion. She needs a tool, one that's been her constant companion through this project. It's simple, but it's essential. As she approaches her workstation, however, a wave of unease washes over her. Her heart sinks into her stomach, the sensation a cold weight she can't shake. Several key components of her prototype are missing, parts for the laser cutter, microchips, wiring that she spent hours meticulously arranging and connecting. Her breath catches in her throat. She can feel the blood rush from her face as she stands frozen in disbelief. This can't be happening. Her stomach tightens into a knot of dread, but she pushes the panic down. She's been through too much to let this throw her off course. Stay focused, she tells herself. This is just another hurdle. She walks briskly to her instructor, Professor Ryan, who stands nearby, his posture indifferent as always, his eyes scanning his own work. "I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. Someone must have borrowed them by accident," he mutters, offering her a shrug that feels dismissive. His tone doesn't waver, and his eyes don't even meet hers. It's as if he hasn't heard a word she's said. Amara's pulse quickens, and her fingers tighten around the edge of the counter. Borrowed by accident? She knows better. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's deliberate, and deep down, she knows it. She can feel it in the pit of her stomach, a gnawing certainty that something insidious is at play. This is sabotage, quiet, underhanded, but real. The more she looks around, the more it becomes clear that the divisions between her and the others run deep. These students, with their pedigrees and influential families, have been undermining her for weeks. She's been dismissed, ignored, and now this. Someone has decided her work isn't worth even the smallest ounce of respect. The next day, Amara's fears are confirmed. More pieces are missing. Critical microchips, wires, even entire data files she'd painstakingly created and saved. The frustration inside her simmers, threatening to boil over, but she keeps it in check. She can't afford to let anger cloud her judgment. The weight of the situation presses heavily on her chest, but she channels the frustration into something more productive. It's a fuel she's learned to harness. She stays late into the night, scavenging the lab for spare parts, rebuilding what she can. The fluorescent lights hum above her, harsh and unyielding, but she doesn't mind the discomfort. If anything, the long hours only add to her resolve. She's going to finish this, no matter what it takes. The work is grueling, and her eyes are sore from the constant strain, but Amara doesn't stop. She can't. Every moment spent fixing what's been broken only strengthens her determination. Each new setback sharpens her focus. There's a quiet satisfaction in knowing she's one step closer to proving herself, even as the odds continue to stack against her. Exhausted, Amara finally takes a brief break. Her phone buzzes in her pocket, the vibration a welcome disruption. She checks the screen. It's a call from her father. The familiarity of his name on the screen is enough to momentarily ease the tension in her shoulders. She answers immediately, hearing his steady voice on the other end. "How's the project going, Amara?" His voice is warm, calming, but there's a softness to it that betrays his awareness of her exhaustion. "I'm dealing with some setbacks. Tools and parts are disappearing. I'm doing my best, but it feels like nothing is going right," she admits, the weight of the frustration and fatigue finally spilling over. There's a brief silence on the other end of the line, the kind that makes Amara wonder if he's processing the depth of her struggle. But then, as always, her father's voice comes through steady, like an anchor in a storm. "Remember, Amara, it's not about how many obstacles you face. It's about how you respond to them. You've got the tools you need inside you. Never forget that." His words, simple yet profound, settle over her like a balm, soothing the raw edges of her nerves. She closes her eyes for a moment, letting the weight of his wisdom seep into her. "You've got the tools you need inside you." The words resonate deeply, and she realizes that the strength she needs doesn't come from external validation or the luxury of resources. It's something she's carried within herself all along. A small smile curves her lips as she inhales deeply, her heart a little lighter than it was moments before. "Thanks, Dad. I'll get it done." The conversation lingers in the air like a promise. Amara's gaze drifts back to her workstation, to the project that's become her lifeline, and for the first time in days, she feels the flicker of hope return. She may be alone in this fight, but she isn't powerless. She has everything she needs to make it to the finish line. She just has to keep going. As the final week of the program arrives, Amara feels the weight of expectation bearing down on her. The clock ticks louder with each passing moment, every second slipping away like sand through her fingers. Her exoskeleton, which once seemed like a distant dream, is now a tangible reality. Every component, every weld, every delicate calculation is a reflection of her determination. This project is more than just a mechanical marvel. It is a physical manifestation of her heart and soul, a testament to the countless sleepless nights and the sacrifices she's made to get here. This exoskeleton isn't just her design. It is her identity, her legacy, and her future all rolled into one. The other students, including those with more resources, are also scrambling to finish their projects. The air in the lab is thick with urgency as they rush to perfect their machines. But for Amara, it's different. There's a deeper connection between her and her creation, a personal bond that runs far beyond the surface of the technology. For her, this project isn't about the accolades or the prize at the end of the program. It's about showing the world who she is, what she's capable of, and most importantly, it's about challenging the narrow view of what it means to be a pioneer in technology. She doesn't just want to create something impressive. She wants to redefine what it means to be a woman, an underdog, in a field dominated by privilege and expectations. The weight of the work is immense, but it's nothing compared to the weight of the constant judgment that surrounds her. One afternoon, as she carefully adjusts the sensors on the exoskeleton's limbs, Amara feels a familiar presence lurking behind her. She doesn't need to turn around to know who it is. The mocking laughter, the smug voices, she's heard them all too many times. Christopher and his clique have come to watch, as they always do. This time, however, their mockery is bolder, more pointed, more deliberate. Christopher pulls out his phone and starts recording, his voice carrying across the lab with that unmistakable arrogance. "Ladies and gentlemen, behold the future of technology," he says, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "A girl building an exoskeleton. Wonder how much of it she's actually doing herself?" His words cut through the hum of machines like a blade, and his friends snicker in unison, eyes scanning Amara's modest workstation. Amara keeps her head down, her hands steady as she continues to fine-tune the components. She refuses to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. Her focus is sharp, her mind completely absorbed in the task at hand. She's built too much of this project on her own, too much of herself, to be rattled by their words. But still, the pressure mounts. The whispers, the laughter, the sneers, they all gnaw at her, trying to tear down her resolve piece by piece. It's a subtle assault on her confidence, one she's become used to, but it's no less painful each time. For a moment, she feels the weight of the world pressing down on her. The noise grows louder in her mind, the taunts becoming almost unbearable. She wants to look up, to confront them, to say something, but the words are trapped inside her. Instead, she focuses harder on the exoskeleton, willing herself not to give in to the pressure. But then, just as it feels like the mockery might break through her concentration, something changes in the atmosphere. The door to the lab opens, and a sudden calm spreads over the room. The source of the calm is unmistakable. A tall figure steps through the doorway, his presence commanding and steady. It's her father, Amara James. The energy in the room shifts instantly. The students stop their whispers, and even Christopher falters, his bravado suddenly evaporating. Amara James doesn't shout, doesn't demand attention. His mere presence is enough to quiet the room. His gaze sweeps over the group, his expression calm yet firm. "What's going on here?" His voice is even, but there's an underlying authority in it that demands respect. His eyes lock onto Christopher's with a quiet intensity, and the air feels charged with unspoken tension. Christopher, caught off guard by the sudden shift, stammers, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean—" His words falter, his usual confidence dissolving under the weight of Marcus's steady gaze. He looks down, his phone slipping from his fingers, no longer a tool of ridicule, but an object of discomfort. Marcus doesn't even acknowledge the apology. Instead, he offers a small smile, not out of amusement, but one that carries a weight of unspoken understanding. His smile is a quiet reminder that some things, like dignity and respect, can't be taken away by the careless words of others. "You know," Marcus says, his voice laced with experience, "I've seen many great inventors in my time, but none of them ever got distracted by the noise. The best inventors focus on the work, not the people." His words hang in the air, a quiet reprimand not just for Christopher, but for the entire room. It's not just about the invention, Marcus seems to be saying. It's about the person behind it, and the resolve that drives them. Then, with a subtle shift in energy, Marcus turns his attention to Amara. He walks over to her workstation, his footsteps purposeful but unhurried. The room falls silent as he approaches, and the students watch with curiosity, waiting for what will come next. When he reaches her, he places a hand gently on her shoulder, his touch a silent gesture of support. "I heard the best inventors are here," Marcus says, his voice softening as he looks at her, pride evident in his eyes. "And I think I've found one." For a brief moment, the noise of the lab, the mockery, the whispers, the laughter, disappears. It's just Amara and her father in that space, a quiet moment of connection amidst the chaos. Amara looks up at him, a flicker of gratitude and admiration crossing her face. His presence, his belief in her, fills her with renewed strength. For the first time that day, her shoulders loosen, and a small, steady smile forms on her lips. She's not alone in this fight. She never has been. And as Marcus walks away, the room is left in a stunned silence. The students who once scoffed and doubted her now watch her with something akin to respect. The air has shifted. The noise is still there, but now it's nothing more than a distant hum, something she can choose to ignore as she continues her work. Her resolve hardens. She doesn't need their approval. She has something far more important, the belief in herself, and the quiet but unshakable support of the one person who has always believed she could change the world. The final demonstration arrives, and Amara can feel the weight of it in every fiber of her being. The auditorium is packed, the air thick with anticipation. Her heart races, each beat pounding in her chest like a drum, the sound reverberating in her ears. The room is a blur of faces, lights, and the hum of whispered conversations, but all of it seems distant. All she can focus on is the exoskeleton in front of her, the culmination of years of hard work, sacrifice, and the quiet moments of doubt that she had to push through to get here. This is it, her moment, her chance to prove herself, not just to the audience, but to herself. The fear and excitement collide inside her, but beneath it all is a quiet, steady resolve. She wheels the exoskeleton onto the stage, the soft squeak of the wheels on the floor cutting through the silence. The machine is sleek, a marvel of engineering, but it is more than that to her. It's a testament to her belief, her vision, and her refusal to give in to the obstacles that have been placed in her path. Every weld, every part, every line in the design is infused with her passion. And now, as she stands before the judges and the crowd, she feels her heart beat a little faster, the weight of the moment pressing down on her. This is her chance to change everything. As she connects the exoskeleton to the test stand, murmurs ripple through the crowd. She can sense the skepticism in the air, thick like fog. Christopher's friends are near the front, their smirks sharp and knowing. They're waiting for her to fail, for her to fall short. The judges, too, eye her with a mixture of doubt and curiosity, their expressions unreadable. Amara doesn't let the skepticism faze her, though. Instead, she focuses on what's in front of her, the exoskeleton, the very thing that she's poured every ounce of herself into. The tension in the room grows heavy, like the air before a storm. Her palms are sweaty, and her breath comes in shallow gasps, but she stands tall. She knows this machine better than anyone. She built it, designed it, and fought for it. Now, it's her moment to show the world what she's capable of. She takes a deep breath, steadying herself, and begins her presentation. Her voice is calm, though it trembles slightly, betraying the nerves she's trying to control. This exoskeleton is designed to assist individuals with limited mobility, helping them regain independence and strength. But it's more than just a device. It's a tool to restore dignity, to give people a second chance at life. The words feel powerful, each one carrying the weight of everything she's been through. She watches the judges closely, looking for any sign that they're listening, any flicker of understanding, but they're still guarded, their faces neutral. Her gaze shifts to the exoskeleton, and with a silent prayer, she activates the device. The room holds its breath. The exoskeleton hums to life, its metal joints shifting with fluid precision. It lifts a heavy object with ease, each movement mimicking the graceful motions of a human body. The exoskeleton moves as though it's alive, its movements smooth and natural, a perfect dance of man and machine. Amara's heart pounds harder as she watches it work. This is what she's built. This is what she's capable of. For a moment, the room falls silent. The only sound is the soft, mechanical whirring of the exoskeleton, and in that silence, she can feel the weight of everyone's eyes on her. The tension hangs in the air, but it's different now, charged with a kind of anticipation, a flicker of hope. And then, as if on cue, the silence is shattered by a burst of applause. The sound is sudden and loud, an eruption of emotion that fills the space. Amara stands there, frozen for a moment, overwhelmed. Her breath catches in her throat as she tries to absorb what's just happened. The applause grows louder, the judges rising to their feet, astonished by what they've seen. She feels her body go numb with a mix of shock, pride, and relief. This is more than an invention. one of the judges says, his voice thick with awe. It's a game changer, a solution that could impact millions of lives. Excellent work, Miss James. The words hit her like a wave, crashing over her with an intensity she wasn't prepared for. She's done it. She's proven them wrong. She's proven herself wrong, not just for herself, but for everyone who has ever doubted her, for everyone who has ever been told they don't belong in this world. This is for the quiet moments when she almost gave up, for the long nights in the lab when she felt like she was the only one who believed in her. This is for the people who will one day use this exoskeleton to regain their independence, to reclaim their lives. It's not just a victory for her, it's a victory for anyone who's ever fought to be seen, to be heard, to have their worth recognized. Amara stands there, breathing deeply, a smile tugging at her lips. The applause still rings in her ears, but it's fading, becoming a distant echo. All that remains is the quiet hum of the exoskeleton, the steady pulse of her heart, and the overwhelming sense that she has just stepped into a new chapter of her life. For once, the world sees her. She is not just a student, not just an underdog. She is a creator, an innovator, and a force to be reckoned with. She's done it. She's made her mark. And as she looks out over the crowd, Amara knows that this is just the beginning. She's not done yet. She has much more to offer. The demonstration ends, but Amara's heart is still racing, and the room feels like it's spinning in slow motion. The applause fades into the background, a distant echo compared to the thunderous beat of her pulse. She's done it, truly done it. And yet, it's not the end. No, the real victory is just beginning. As the last few claps resonate in the auditorium, a figure steps onto the stage. It's her father, Marcus James, his tall frame cutting through the crowd with a kind of calm authority. The murmurs hush as he clears his throat, the weight of his words building an expectant silence in the room. Amara watches him closely, feeling a rush of warmth and pride flood her chest. He's always been her anchor, her guiding force in the storm, and now, more than ever, she knows he sees her for who she truly is. Today, I'm proud to establish a scholarship in honor of my daughter, Amara James. His voice rings out, strong and unwavering. This scholarship will support young engineers who face the challenges of inequality, just as Amara has. The words hang in the air for a moment, and then the room erupts into applause. The sound is deafening, overwhelming, and yet Amara feels herself rooted to the spot, calm amidst the storm. She doesn't need the validation, the applause, the recognition. She already knows her worth. But as the cheers flood the room, something stirs deep within her. This scholarship, it's more than just a tribute to her. It's a lifeline for others, for those who have struggled to find their place in a world that doesn't always welcome them, who fight against the tide of privilege and expectation. It's a recognition of all the hidden talents, the untapped potential, that often goes unnoticed because of circumstances beyond their control. The applause feels like a wave crashing over her, but this time, it's not just for her success. It's for something bigger. It's for every student who will now have the chance to rise above their challenges and make their mark. It's for every dreamer who thought they had to give up because the world told them they didn't belong. As her father smiles down at her, Amara feels a surge of emotion. She's not just carrying the weight of her own dreams now. She's carrying the dreams of those who don't yet have the chance to dream. The room is no longer just a space filled with prestigious families and influential names. It's filled with possibility. Later, as the crowd begins to disperse, Amara is caught off guard by a familiar voice behind her. She turns to find Christopher Lawrence standing there, no longer the arrogant, dismissive figure he once was. His posture is different, less brash, less sure of himself. In fact, there's an almost hesitant look in his eyes. He looks humbled. The change is so stark that for a moment, Amara wonders if she's imagining it. "I was wrong," Christopher says quietly, his tone softer than she's ever heard it. There's no mockery in his voice now, just a quiet sincerity. "You really are something special. Can I learn from you?" Amara stands still, processing his words. It's hard to reconcile the Christopher who'd laughed at her work, belittled her efforts with the man standing before her now, vulnerable and real. But life has a way of surprising you, doesn't it? In that moment, Amara knows that growth comes in unexpected forms. Sometimes it's in the quiet apology of someone who once saw you as beneath them. Sometimes it's in the acknowledgement of your worth from the person who once tried to tear you down. A smile tugs at the corner of her lips, and she extends her hand to him. The warmth of her gesture catches him off guard, and for a moment, he hesitates. But then he takes her hand firmly, the connection between them somehow bridging the past and the present. "Of course," she replies, her voice steady but kind. "Let's start with the basics. Never judge a book by its cover." Christopher's face flushes slightly, and he lets out a small, self-deprecating laugh. There's a moment of awkwardness between them, but it's the kind of awkwardness that speaks of new beginnings. Amara feels a sense of peace settle over her. This is a lesson, not just for him, but for everyone who's ever doubted her. It's the quiet victory that she doesn't need to shout about, because the change is already happening. As Christopher walks away, still processing the encounter, Amara watches him go, feeling a quiet satisfaction. She's not just a pioneer in technology. She's a pioneer in understanding, in teaching others the lessons they couldn't see for themselves. The journey ahead is long, but she's no longer walking it alone. There's a community waiting to be built, a network of like-minded individuals who, like her, know what it's like to face adversity and rise above it. She looks out at the crowd, her father by her side, and for the first time in a long while, Amara allows herself to feel what she's earned. Pride. It's not just for her accomplishments, but for the path she's paved, for herself, and for those who will follow. The real victory, she realizes, isn't in the accolades or the recognition. It's in the chance to change lives, to rewrite the rules, and to prove that anyone, no matter where they come from, can make a difference. And as the final applause fades, Amara knows this is only the beginning. She's ready for whatever comes next. As the program ends, Amara stands before her completed exoskeleton. It's more than just a piece of technology. It's a symbol of her journey. Her hands, stained with oil and sweat, have created something that could change the world. The crowd gathers around her project, the recognition in their eyes clear, and now the world knows her name. Her future is just beginning. She's ready for whatever comes next. If you've enjoyed this story and want to see more of Amara's journey, or other stories just like it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Don't miss out on the next chapter. Let's continue to inspire and innovate together.